Welcome to the IEP meeting. There's no one here. Who should attend an IEP meeting? First, we have to have a case manager. The case manager handles the case and invites and calls the meeting. The case manager is usually the special education teacher, but it should be the service provider with the most interaction with the students. In this case, we'll go with special ed teacher. Okay, it is not an IEP meeting unless there is an administrator present. You must have your administrator or the administrator's designee for an IEP meeting for it to be legal. An IEP, in addition, for it to be valid, must have a general education teacher if the student has any time in general education. We would like to have a parent at a special education meeting. We may not always get one, and it can be held without them in extreme circumstances. But you want a parent to form the core group here represented for your IEP meeting. Sometimes an IEP becomes more complicated and other people might be there. Here's a list of possibilities. You may have a student, the student, at your IEP, especially by the age of 16. The student should be at their own IEP. If needed, you definitely should have a translator at your IEP. When in doubt, please make sure you have one, and if needed, they can leave the meeting at that point. Thank you. You may also, but definitely should, at an initial or a triennial, have the psychologist at the meeting to explain their findings and to assist. You might need to have a deaf or hard of hearing specialist at your IEP meeting. Often, your IEP meeting will be attended by a speech and language pathologist. You might have a vision specialist. You might have the special ed aide that works with the student at the meeting. The meeting might be attended by an adaptive physical education specialist. You might want to invite an occupational therapist to the IEP meeting. A transition specialist should be invited to the meeting, a representative for the school that the student would move on to, perhaps junior high or high school level, and definitely by the time the student is 16 years old, they should have transition plans written into the IEP. At your IEP meeting, participants should not wear two hats, or in this case, two signs. But for purposes of this video, we will use that technique. You may have the SELPA director at your IEP meeting for clarification and sometimes to help facilitate the meeting. An observer might be at your meeting. This could be a student teacher or an intern or perhaps even an observer from the local SELPA or state agency. A friend may attend the meeting. This could be a friend of the student, a friend of the parent, or a friend that has an interest in the meeting. Often, a parent may bring an advocate to the meeting. The parent may feel the need to bring a lawyer to the meeting to make sure the rights of the student are being met. Often, the district will respond by bringing their lawyer to the IEP meeting. There are other people that may be invited to this meeting. I'm sure there are others that have not been thought of at this point. However, I have been at an IEP meeting with phones ringing and this many participants at the table. So if you get away with just your core group, you should consider it a nice, efficient, smooth meeting.